It took me a while to break into comedy writing, and I had to support myself while I was waiting for my big break. And the way I did that was by typing. Now, I would get jobs here and there, almost always in variety, and they would pay well while I was working. But that was the problem. They'd only last for a few weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe 12 weeks if I was really lucky. And then I wouldn't know when the next job was going to come along. It could be months. Now, when one of these TV writing jobs ended, I'd hold off as long as I could going back to typing, my hope being that another writing job would come along and spare me from that. But more often than not, that didn't happen, and I would have to go back to typing. Now, I said typing, but it was really temporary typing. I was a temp. I was signed up with a number of these temporary services, and when an opening came along at one of these companies where somebody was on vacation or pregnant or sick or whatever it was, and they needed someone to fill in for the day, for the week, sometimes months, somebody like me would be given the assignment. I wasn't happy doing it. I wanted to be a writer, obviously, but in my mind, it beat bagging groceries or working at a car wash, and they usually liked me. More than once I was offered full-time positions, and occasionally I took them. Two little side notes. I'm not sure I ever saw another male doing temporary work, though I'm sure there must have been some. And side note two, this was right at the time when word processing was beginning to come into existence. In fact, one of the cutting-edge typewriters at the time was able to memorize, get this, 2 lines of typing. And that's how it went for quite a while. Work a little, type a little, work a little, type a little. Now fast forward a couple of years and suddenly I'm on a roll. Writing jobs are happening with enough frequency that I haven't had to go back to typing. In fact, I think I'm finally over the hump and typing is a thing of the past. But I was wrong. The time came when I hit a slump, the jobs just weren't happening, and I had no choice but to go back to typing. And let me tell you, it really hurt. So the agency sends me to IBM in downtown LA for a 1-week assignment. So feeling incredibly low, I show up at IBM for my first day of work. Well, it's in this sort of basement in the bowels of the building. There's just 2 women working there, and it's not even typing. There's a table there with stack after stack of file folders piled really high, and my job is to alphabetize them and then place them in the filing cabinets in the adjoining room. True or false? That really lifted my spirits. But what could I do? I needed the money. So I grabbed a big pile of file folders and went into the adjoining room and got to work. Well, I've hardly started working when the phone rings. One of the women comes in and tells me it's for me. It's my supervisor at Kelly Girl. So I go out there, pick up the phone, and my supervisor tells me they want me to leave at the end of the day. Remember, it was supposed to be a 1-week assignment. I have no idea what's going on. Obviously, one of these 2 women, who I'm now in the room with, has phoned Kelly Girl and said, we want this guy out of here at the end of today. But what had I done? I hadn't been there long enough for them to hate me. No, I didn't want to be there. But the fact that they didn't want me to be there either hurt. And I was kind of shaken up. But I hung up the phone and went back to the other room and back to filing. Well, not 10 seconds goes by and the phone rings again. Same woman comes in and says, it's your supervisor. I pick up the phone and the supervisor says, they want you to leave immediately. What the fuck? And I'm looking at these 2 women who are going about their business as if they have no idea what I've just been told on the phone, when obviously one of them called and said, get him out of here immediately. And so I left. And I never did know what it was I did so terribly wrong. But there's a happy ending. A job came along and I didn't have to go back to typing, at least not for a long time. And that would prove to be the last time.